Today I'm going to talk about the piping on the 20-ton narrow gauge Shay engine designed by John Buckwalter. I'm going to start with talking about the firing. This is an oil-fired engine, and what you see is that little red-handled valve up in there is the oil supply coming out of the tank in the coal bunker. You see a carburetor type filter there, and then up in there is the needle valve, and that goes down and feeds into the goes through a tube that goes through the burner box. So if you walk over to the other end, there is the piping that goes to the burner itself. A little hard to see, but anyway, closest to you is the oil piping that feeds to the burner. So anyway, I'm going to talk now about the water supply for the engine. There's three ways to put water in this engine. There's an injector on each side. This is a Earl Mueller modified Olenkamp injector, fed from the tender tank, and inside the tender tank is a ball valve with an extended rod coming up, and then there's a filter screen on that ball valve, and so you see that that being the water supply on that side. Coming around, you can see the oil tank there in the coal box. Anyway, this is the eccentric engineer injector on the left side. Wasn't able to get the ball valve inside the water leg on the left side, but I have a PM Research ball valve here, or not ball valve, gate valve, and then that's the eccentric engineer injector. All the piping to both injectors is 5/16 tubing, and then you can see, if you follow it up here, you end up with the piping into the boiler. So this particular valve here gives you the ability to shut this line off if this swing check would fail. And those are PM Research fittings. This is also PM Research 1/8" pipe union, very nice union, and then 5/16 tubing. Okay, now the third source of water is the axle pump. It's kind of buried up in here, but there is the drive for the axle pump off of the drive shaft. It's a clippered cylinder, and there's a set of check valves on the other end. Lets water in and also discharge out. So you can see the pipe fittings there, and then it discharges up to hoses through high pressure hoses. You can see that T there. That is a line going through to the other side. That is the return line that allows you to have a valve to let water back in the tender. And so that's that particular valve right there. So I can let water back in the tender if the boiler's getting too full. There's screens on the intakes for the axle pump and both injectors. Over here is the corner is the drain valve for the tank. You can see the drain valve right there. Okay, going on from the injector on the right side, piping going up to a similar arrangement on the swing check and shutoff valve there. So that gives you that particular idea of the three sources to get water in the boiler. Okay, the throttle valve on this engine is external. It's a good Apollo ball valve, 1/4" ball valve, and I had to make a new handle offset 45 degrees so I could get full open and full close as I stroke the thing. Anyway, it goes down into a little manifold feeding the steam chests, and right here you see there's a cap that'll come out and that's where the lubricator will tie into that line. And this is a Paul Bryan design hand lubricator that will mount to the back of the cab and feed oil in when I want to. There's the handle. I got a smaller handle for the needle valve that allows me to adjust the oil flow into the system. Okay, you can see there's the steam manifold. What you see here is on each side there's a steam feed with a quick opening quarter turn ball valve. The gauge is a Loco Parts gauge, nice gauge, and it got PM Research ball valves. This is also a Loco Parts water gauge with all the valves. Like that real well. It's well designed, well made. I'm pleased with that. If you look here at this particular valve, this is the steam feed to this manifold right here. And this manifold is the manifold that feeds the blower and the atomizing steam to the burner. The top one is the blower. You can see I insulated the line there. It goes out through a dry pipe in the boiler to the front of the smoke box. And then the lower one is going down, and that feeds the steam to the atomizer. Walking around, back around the other side here, you can see there's a check valve here, and then it ties to an air fitting. So when you're starting up, you'll plug your air up from your compressor. It'll feed the manifold, and that'll give you air to run things until you're ready, till you got steam pressure on the thing. You can see the brakes. That's the arrangement for the brake cylinder. I don't have it hooked up yet, but that'll be the Tom B Clippard style brake regulator that mounts also in the back of the cab to feed that. Got a smaller blow down valve on this side. Couldn't get past the rod for the brake cylinder with a bigger one, but that'll work fine. So up top, pressure relief valves set to 120 psi for relieving the steam. So anyway, this will give you an idea. You know, the engine's come along pretty good. You can see what it looks like. You can see the little line coming out the front. That'll be feeding the blower line when I put the smoke box and so on. So that's an idea about what takes the pipe, a steam locomotive. Not much detail, but give you a little bit of information. So thanks again. Bye-bye.